What is up, everybody? Welcome to Shirt School Live. This is the weekly live show where we review your Shopify stores. We give you honest feedback, honest advice, and today is going to be a very, very good one. So I want to say hi to some people. If you're watching out there, I see lots of people watching already. I want you to say hi in the chat. Say hello. Where are you from? How's everything going today? I want to know how you are doing. And while you're doing that, I'm going to let our friend into the call here. We're just going to mute them up real quick. All right, guys, it's going to be a great day. Let's say hi to some people. Josh is here. What is up, Josh? I hope you're doing well. He says, wahoo. We got somebody saying hi from Santa Clarita, California. It's good to have you here. I see Mr. James Corley is here. Showtime. Let's go. Good to have you on. Oh, man. Okay, there you guys are. I see you showing up. Hey, what is up, Creole? How's it going? What's up, Dave from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania? Nathan's here. What's up, Nathan? Property Solutions Real Estate. Hello, Carrie. Hello, Property Solutions Real Estate. Good to have you here. We have a friend from Sydney, Australia. We have Dejari from Florida. So many people to say hi to. I'd love to say hi to every single one of you. Hello from New York. Hello from Oklahoma. Hello from Sunset Beach, New Orleans. You guys are all around. It's so good to have you here. Well, guys, this has been awesome doing this every week. I love getting to show up every week and just hang out with you guys, review your stores. Hopefully these have been helpful. And I think today it might go to a new level today. It may go to a new level today because we're bringing our first guest onto the Shirt School live show. So as you guys know, every week we kind of review your Shopify stores, right? We take your comments with your URLs and emails we've got and all the posts and comments in the group. We put those in I have them in a big Trello board, and I pick a few stores to review every week. And then we also show you stores that are out there crushing it so that you can learn from those stores that are doing really well. And it's always a good time. We do giveaways and all kinds of different fun stuff. But one thing I want to add to this live stream is just bringing on some of my friends and experts around different subjects that you guys, are looking to grow in. And so today I have a very special guest on. Her name is Brittany Long. She is the founder of Win with Systems, and her goal is to help you make a living and a life through strategic email sequences that can sell and nurture on your behalf. So I met Brittany just a couple weeks ago in Connecticut. We're in a coaching and mastermind together, and she's just really cool. I think we instantly kind of connected, hit it off a little bit. And so she's becoming one of my very good friends, and I'm very excited to have her on with us today. So I want you guys to give it up a warm, loud Shirt School welcome for my friend Brittany Long. Welcome to the stream, and unmute her. How are you doing, Brittany?
Hey, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here and to talk to you guys today.
Awesome. So glad to have you on. Brittany, why don't you start by just telling everybody a little bit about yourself?
So I am a former middle school science teacher, and that means two things. It means that I'm great at creating lessons and trainings and programs and stuff like that. It also means that I have a lot of Uranus jokes. So I will do my best not to share any of those today, but I do have a lot of them. But I am a former middle school science teacher. I kind of went into that because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I knew that I wanted to make an impact, and it seemed like I guess this is what I'm supposed to do. I think I knew deep down maybe that it wasn't. And it wasn't until I had a cancer scare that completely shook my world that I even questioned what I was supposed to be doing. I was kind of sleepwalking through life. And I've always had that entrepreneurial bone in me. But I thought, I have time later. I'll figure it out later. In the meantime, I was spending all my time working and, day and night and not spending time with my family. And so when that cancer scare came, it really just kind of threw everything into perspective. And I realized that's not what I want to do. Within a few years, I was out of teaching and I started my business, and that led to me writing for a living. And then from there, the people that I was writing for were having some intense life events happening. Some of the people I've worked for just to kind of give you an example, one of them, her mom suddenly became disabled, overnight. She went from being able to walk to not being able to walk to having to move in with her and be her sole caretaker. And it's really hard, obviously, to run a business when you have something like that happening literally overnight. And then I've had other entrepreneurs that I've worked with that, they get sick or their kid gets sick, or they're going through a divorce or a separation, or they're depressed. And it's like the stuff that as entrepreneurs, I don't think we really like to talk about. We like to be like, oh, money's coming in, best month ever, and stuff like that. And that's great. But those other things are happening. And I know they're happening because I work with people that come to me after that started and they're like, crap, I don't have the brain power right now or the capacity to even think about my business. But I also, like, I know I need to pay the bills. I need something that can make money for me. And so that's where the email sequences come in. And so for me, I love to write, of course, but it's so much more than the writing. It's about helping people create like this safety net so that when something happens, because like that's just how life is, the unexpected happens. When something happens, or even if you just want to break, or you're feeling burnt out or whatever it is, you have the ability to still make money through your emails from that. And so that's who I am and how I started on all of this. I just believe that the last thing that you should have to worry about when you're going through something is the bills and how am I gonna make ends meet and stuff like that. And so
Okay, so you gave us a lot. That's a lot there.
Yeah.
All right, so let's pause for a second, Brittany. First of all, a lot of people saying hi. A lot of people saying hi in the comments. Princess Ponytail says she loves your hair. By the way, it's awesome hair. Yep, that's pretty awesome. All right, so I want to back up a little bit because I do want to spend a few moments just kind of getting to know you. You're new to the Shirt School family here. We're really excited to have you, but we want to get to know you a little bit. So you said you're working in a middle school,
Yeah.
and you had a cancer scare.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about that. Like, that was the moment where you decided to transition out of kind of like full-time job into running your own business. And I think that, so just kind of relating that a little bit to like, the pandemic, for instance, like that's what's happened to a lot of people is that you've had a life event and it's like this life event of the pandemic. It's like everybody was out of work. A lot of people were laid off. And then that's the moment that I noticed, last year that so many people were coming into my world wanting to start a t-shirt business because they had this unexpected life event. So tell us a little bit more about that time. Like, what happened? Like, are you cancer free? Like, you went through treatment and we're.
Oh man.
Yes.
No,
We're glad you're
it
here.
gets even crazier. Yeah, it gets even crazier. Okay, so I just went in for a normal checkup and they're like, huh. And I was like, well, that's not good. And so I'm like stressing about it and anxious and stuff like that. And so they called me back and they're like, we need you to come in. And so they did something where they like took some cells to see if it was cancerous or not. So then they call me back and they're like, we actually want you to, they said to come back in 2 weeks. They're like, actually, we want you to come back next week. And I was like, this is definitely not good. So then I was the next in line. I was getting ready to talk to my doctor. He was getting ready to tell me everything about it. And then he had to leave. My regular doctor, he had to leave to deliver a baby. And so I met with somebody that I'd never met before. And she was like, I'm sorry to tell you, this is always really difficult, but you have cancer. It's aggressive. I left the doctor's office that day thinking this was my last year on earth. Like, I genuinely thought I was dying. This was my last year on earth. And I was so upset that I had spent so much time, first of all, so much time with other people's family and focusing on everybody else and not my own family, thinking we'll go on vacations later. We'll do this and that later. I was so upset about that, but I was also upset because I knew that there was something else deep down inside of me that was like, I was supposed to be doing something else. That's what I knew. But I didn't know what. And I kept thinking I had more time to figure it out. And so I felt so upset that I had waited so long and that now maybe I didn't have any time left. So fast forward, it's 2 weeks. I went to see a specialist and I remember how confused she was when she was talking to me and when she was doing the exam. And she said, you don't have cancer. It's not aggressive. It's localized. And she's like, before we even talk about like treatments and stuff like that, before we do any of that, she's like, I can fix this with like a teeny tiny simple surgery. You'll be fine in like 2 weeks or less. It's so insane. But those 2 weeks, I mean, it was a rough 2 weeks. Like it was really stressful and sad and like all these different emotions coming up. But it was also in a weird way kind of exhilarating too, because I knew if I came out on the other side of this, life was never, ever going to be the same. And so when I found that out that I actually didn't have cancer, it was precancer cells, fixed super easily. Like I haven't had any reoccurrences of it at all. But I could never go back to sleepwalking through life again. It was just, and I'm sure some of you guys with the pandemic have felt that too, that you kind of have this wake up call and then all of a sudden you're like, I can't go back to how things were. There's something else inside me. I'm meant for something else more, even if it's just more financial security. With it comes with owning your own business. I think, yeah, that's how I felt.
One of the things I really like is that, which obviously that's amazing that you didn't have cancer. I'm so thankful for
Yeah.
that. But one of the things that I love is that during that time that something kind of hit you, and I guess you realized I can't wait any longer to do what I'm supposed to be doing. Like I think we all have this idea that we always have like a ton of time. It's like, we can always do that. We can always do that in a month, in a year, and so we wait and we wait and we wait. But like, man, my message to everybody always is take imperfect action. Like that's
Mhm.
my whole thing. It's like, man, like you got to go now, like, and it's not like, I hate people like rushing into things, but it's like, golly, don't keep waiting when you have a bigger purpose. And so that's pretty awesome. So let's move forward from that. So you realize, you're not supposed to do what you've been doing. There's something bigger for you. What were there other business ideas that you tried, or were you just
Oh.
like, it happened and you were like, I just want to write emails. I know I'm going to be this email guru, and what like.
No, not at all. I wish that it was that way. It'd probably be a lot faster and easier. But no, in the course of the next few years, I tried over 27 different side hustles,
Oh my
trying to
gosh.
figure out what the right fit was for me. Like I literally sat down and counted them, 27. Um, and some went okay, some went poorly. But during that time, I was still teaching. So I was teaching and during the day, and then coming home at night and working. Usually pretty late, trying to do whatever I was working on, trying all these different things. Some of them I was okay at, some of them I was really bad at, and then some of them I kept going at. I didn't try writing right away because I really genuinely didn't think that was something that people did for a living. Like I had always heard, well, writers are starving artists and stuff like that. And so I thought, well, it's just not possible to write for a living. And there's all these other people already doing it. So who am I to think that I can? And I kind of just fell into it actually, where it was one of the things that somebody's like, hey, can you do this? And I was like, yeah, I'll try it. And it kind of took off from there.
Email became your love. I love that.
Yeah, and I always loved writing. Even when I was a kid, I loved writing. I just didn't think it was something that people did for a living.
Yeah, that's really cool, because that's another thing I think, people think when they see people on the internet or whatever, it's like, oh, they just tried this business, and it just they're a millionaire. But it's like 27 different businesses. Like I can definitely resonate with that. Back to the days of like I was buying stuff online and then like reselling it on eBay, or buying stuff on Craigslist and reselling it on eBay, or trying drop shipping, or all these different like little side hustle things, until t-shirts kind of called my name and became my thing. So that's really cool. So you kind of found email marketing was your thing. So, and okay, one more thing I want to say real quick, and I have a lot of questions here I just want to ask you about, and we're definitely going to get into strategies and tips and all that kind of stuff. But one of the things that just keeps coming to mind, because I think that we have a really, really great community here at Shirt School, and people really like care about each other. Like we just have a community where people are really helpful and care about each other. And we try to make it about that bigger purpose, which is why I'm so glad you're here. When we were in Connecticut, I was just getting to know, I'm still just getting to know Brittany, but I one of the things I realized is that she is like so passionate about really helping people. I don't even know how to describe it, but like, I guess the best way I could say it is like, you don't want people to feel the pain they're feeling. Like you want to take that pain
Yeah.
away. And I'm trying not to get emotional, because I know you were a little bit emotional in Connecticut with our thing. Like about, you were just like, oh my gosh, I want these people to get it. I want these people I want to remove that pain and help them, experience the freedom in this life and everything. And like, I can resonate with that, because sometimes I just, with my students or with you guys that are on, it's like, I want it for you so bad. I want that success almost maybe more than you do. And so, without going too deep into that, like, can you speak to that a little bit? Just like your passion for people, because I really feel that when I met you in person, like, man, you just have this intense, like almost to a fault, where it's
Mhm.
like, I care
Yes.
so much about people and their success. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, so I've had the really wonderful opportunity of working with so many wonderful people and seeing the impact they make. And first of all, I love writing because I get to make an impact on the business owner who gets to make an impact on, like, there's this huge ripple effect that I get to be part of. And I love that. But I've worked with so many wonderful business owners that have had like really crappy, like just a crappy hand dealt to them. And it breaks my heart to see them struggle or to see them think about having to shut down their business or anything like that. And to know that I could have a part in helping them avoid that is it like lights that fire in me, you know what I mean? And so it's not just for me, it's not just, like I said, it's not just about the emails. It's about so much more than that. It's about setting up a life for them, both for themselves while they're going through something difficult, for their families. Because I feel like we have one life. That's it. Like we have one life, and it's so easy to get caught in the grind and caught in the hustle mentality and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, if you, at least for me, when I was faced with that, like, I think I'm dying this year, what I wanted to do wasn't work more. What I wanted to do wasn't, any of that kind of stuff. What I wanted to do was spend more time with the people that I have said that I want to love for the rest of my life. And to see people not getting to do that, like every single day, there's entrepreneurs that don't get to do that because they haven't set up the systems ahead of time. They haven't set up the emails ahead of time. They don't have any way to sell if they're not the ones like pitching or making the sale. And, it breaks my heart because it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. And yeah, I don't know if that helps. I hope that helps somebody that's listening.
No, it's really, really good because I know in transitioning a little bit, starting to get into the strategy and all that kind of stuff is one of the things I'm always preaching is just like I'm preaching, guys, you gotta have email going, because the truth is in our world, Brittany, like in e-commerce, what I find is a lot of people are not doing email. They're not doing it and they don't know the power of it. And so from my perspective, there's so many benefits of email marketing and not only email marketing, but then you take it a step further because you're really passionate about evergreening. And like, if you guys don't know what evergreen means, like Brittany wants you not to just send emails. She wants you to write emails in a sequence that can automatically be sent in the background and can bring in you in sales and nurture your list and create relationships where you can be doing whatever you want and your emails are still selling for you. And that's like another level where you don't have to do this manual work each week. You just set it up once and it's on this sequence. So I do want to get into that. But I want to start by just, can you tell from your perspective, why is email so powerful? Like why, a lot of people are running Facebook ads and they're just focused a lot on the front end, maybe not the back end. Why is email so powerful in your mind?
So first, if you're running Facebook ads and you don't have sequences in place, it takes people at least 8 touch points in order to buy from you. And so if they only see your ad once or even twice or 3 times or up to 7 times, the chances of them buying from you are fairly slim still. And so you want to have those sequences in place so that you don't have to worry if your Facebook ads go down, because I've worked with people where they're running multiple 6 figures a month and then all of a sudden their Facebook ads go down and their business is cut in half overnight. And I wish I could say that's only been one person, but unfortunately it's not the case. And so relying just on Facebook ads is not sustainable and it's not responsible. And it puts you in a really difficult position, especially if you have people on your team, like VAs and stuff like that. But even if it's just you, it puts you in a really difficult position that you don't have to be in if you're running emails, because you have those going out for you. So first of all, the Facebook ad landscape is just a little bit, up and down. You don't really know what to expect, and you're kind of at the whims of the Zuckerberg gods, trying to make sure that it'll work. But then also abandoned cart sequence is another thing. If you don't have an abandoned cart sequence, if somebody goes to check out and they decide not to, you can still catch them later with an abandoned cart sequence. In fact, we see that I think it's 80%. It's a crazy high number, but it's 70 or 80% of people that go to check out actually abandon the cart. And so if you could recover some of those sales, that's just a little tweak that you could make that could bring in extra revenue that doesn't really take that long. And it's only a few emails. Usually I do 4 or 5 emails. And after you've written those 4 or 5 emails and set up that sequence, you don't have to keep writing them again and again and again. They're in a sequence, so they're sending already. You don't even have to think about it. And it's recovering sales for you. And so if you have things that are going well now, imagine how much better they could be going for you with a few of these kind of simple tweaks and sequences. So that's for Facebook ads. If you're relying on other things too, like affiliates, I don't know if any of you are doing that, but if you do affiliates, that can change, with laws that change and things like that, that can be a big impact too. And so having the emails is just that extra level of protection for you.
Yeah. And I always think of it like it's the one piece of online real estate that you own, nobody can take it away from you. You always have it. You can always go back to it. And I mean, I can even speak for myself in my own businesses, as this year definitely the Facebook ads spectrum has been so up and down with iOS 14, 15, and all this crazy stuff. Like I've relied more heavily on email than ever before, and it's carried me through some of these months where that have been a little bit down because ads weren't working as well. And I think what's cool too is there are other ways to use ads where you can use those to grow your list as opposed to just going directly to the sale, and it can fuel that list. And I just think there's so much you can do with email, and even I always compare it to social media, and it's like open rates are way higher than engagement rates on social media. I mean, that's the reality, is like you can get 20, 25, 30% or more open rates, and abandoned cart emails. I mean, sometimes I'll get 60, 70% open rates on abandoned cart emails. I'm never going to get that on social media.
Right.
It's not possible. So there's so many benefits of email, and then specifically Evergreen automated. Okay, so let's jump into some more tactics, strategy types things. So I want to specifically maybe talk about like sales emails. What are your thoughts around like selling with email, as opposed to like relationship building, or the combo of both? Like, what's a good strategy around selling through email?
So typically what we do with our emails, especially with our evergreen emails, is we do two that are like relationship building, one that's a sales email, and then one that's a success story. Or if that doesn't make sense for your company, obviously, instead of a success story, some kind of tip, here's how to use this product, things like that work really, really well. Even just having people that like reviews, people that love what you have to say, sharing about that, or even highlighting somebody that's bought from you, highlighting their company, sharing what they shared, has done really well for us as well, and really well when we worked with ecom as well, sharing that there. So that's typically what we do. For the sale email, if you're running a sale, like let's say you're running like a Labor Day sale or something like that. If you're running a sale, you want to have the option for them to opt out of those sales emails. If you don't have that, then it's likely if they don't want the sale emails, they'll unsubscribe, but they unsubscribe completely. And so if you give them the option to opt out only of the sale emails, that keeps them on your list, because they might still be interested in something else, keeps them on your list, but not getting the sale emails. So they're happy, you're happy, everybody wins.
Okay, cool.
And
So
then
that's instead of just unsubscribing altogether, an option to actually just opt out of that certain list or sequence is a good idea. That's good. Continue
yeah.
on.
And then also giving them the option, especially in your onboarding process, giving them the option of letting you know what they're interested in. So having them take a super short survey, then giving them a discount or a coupon code as a thank you is really great. By finding out exactly what they want, you're able to segment a little bit more. And when you segment, first of all, you usually have more buy-in from people that are telling you exactly what they want, because then you can give them exactly what they want. So they're like, wow, this is like, I love their emails from me because it's always exactly what I'm looking for. And that's because you're segmenting. But if you're segmenting like that, you can also send them more products that they're interested in, specifically that they're interested in. And that helps open rates, that helps click-through rates as well.
Okay, that's a great place to kind of pause here for a second, maybe talk about it a little bit deeper. So I actually had a question from one of my accelerator, like my higher level coaching students. His name's Nas. And his question was, I'm not reading it verbatim, but he was wondering what kind of like how you would segment a list. And I know we're specifically talking about ecom, because he basically the segments that he had. And so if you guys don't know kind of what segmenting is, she's talking about if you have a list of 1,000 people, breaking those up into smaller groups so that you can send them more targeted emails based on what they like, right? So Nas asked, for typical ecom, like what would you do for a segment? What he's got is like anybody who's opened his email in the last 60 days and then everybody who hasn't. I told him like I would definitely have like a purchaser list for sure. Anybody who's bought from you, that would be a great segment to have. But what you just specifically said was it's like sending out a survey saying like, what do you like, or something along those lines, to be able to segment. Like maybe talk about that just a little bit more, like how you would break up a list.
Yeah. So typically what I would do is send a super short survey email that says something along the lines of, I only want to send you exactly what you want. I know that I can't, like, we have amazing things, but I know it's not for, like, I know certain things aren't for everybody. So let me have you fill this short thing out. It's going to help me out so I can help you out. After you've done that, reply to this email, and I'll have a coupon code for you. I like doing a reply to this email
I
afterwards
love
because it
that.
also helps. Yeah, it helps with deliverability later on, and also gets them in the habit of responding to me and feeling like it's a relationship, feeling like they're not just another number. And so that's why I like doing that. And so that's one way that you can do it. As far as segmenting, I would say, what are some of your most popular products? Having those on the survey and then having them click if they like it or don't like it. It gives you a better idea. And then also you can kind of follow their journey and see what kind of people are following that journey as well and what those patterns are. This would be a great task for a VA to do, especially because then you can tell your customer journey better. Like, okay, if this person or if somebody buys this product, typically they're also going to buy this one and this one and this one. So you know, in an upsell or in other emails that you're sending them, you want to include those products because they're more likely to buy those because other people with similar behaviors have bought those.
Okay, so can we do a quick example? Let's just because I'm laying down what you're saying. Let's just try to get people to latch onto it here.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I put my friend Jason Bull up on the screen. His business is runnerisms.com. So he does running shirts, like
Okay.
for all different kinds of runners. Okay, so I'm thinking about his business for this segmenting thing because I just kind of it made sense. So he sells shirts that are like about walking, about running, about cross country. Like he's got different, I guess customers that they might walk, but they might not run, or they might do
Yeah.
cross country or whatever. So like for him, could he send out an email with, maybe three different shirt
Mhm.
pictures in there, like a running shirt, a wall, and say, hey, would you mind clicking on which one you like? And we'll
Mhm.
tag you so that we can send you more of the same stuff. So
Mhm.
like, because I know specifically, like I'm thinking about Klaviyo or OmniSend, like
Mhm.
you could set up an email and you could tell it tag this person if they
Mhm.
click this link.
Mhm.
Would that be a good example of like maybe he could break it up into walking, running, cross country, these different things? Like, is that a good example?
Absolutely. Yep, definitely.
Yeah.
You could do that, and then you could even send them another email later on that has different styles of shirts. So one could be maybe a tank top, one could be long sleeve, one could be short sleeve. Ask them what their favorite style of shirt is. That, and then you can segment even further with that. For example, somebody like me is not going to want to get long sleeve shirts usually because I live in Florida and it's like as hot as the devil's butt crack. So we don't want we don't want any long sleeve shirts. So doing that would be a great option as well.
Okay, that's really, really good stuff. Let me. Jason's pumped because he got a shout out. Runnerisms in the house. Yeah. I got a couple comments here. I don't. If you guys want to leave questions, feel free. We'll try to do some
Yeah.
more like Q&A at the end. But there was a couple that I wanted to bring up. Just real quick as a little break here. What was that one? Sorry. All right, this Ben says your drink, hair, and earrings match. Seems like it was a planned event.
That's really funny. So actually my hair is normally purple with like rainbows and stuff, but I just really like this color. I don't know. That's really funny.
Let's see. What's up from Mississippi? What's up, Anthony? And then RF says really nice tip about the sales email. So you got a few good ones there. All right, so that's good. So segmenting your list. Okay, I want to go back just real quick because one thing I wanted to ask you was you said 2 emails non-sale to one
Mhm.
email sale.
Yeah, that's usually what we do.
Do
Hmm.
you mean like in a sequence? Like you would if you're
Hmm.
setting up a sequence, let's say it's like 3 months long,
Hmm.
you would want to mix it up with two non-sales for every one sale that you write. Okay,
Yep, that's correct.
so I'm just gonna play devil's advocate. What would be the point of those non-sale emails?
So the main goal of those is just to build a relationship so they don't feel like you're constantly selling to them. One of the reasons we see people opting out of email sequences is because they feel like, oh my gosh, I'm just getting sold to again and again and again. And so letting them know a little bit about you or your brand or your company, how you're helping other people, charities you're giving to, things like that, things that your audience cares about. So if that's not something your audience cares about, then disregard that part. But whatever it is that your audience cares about, that's what you want to be highlighting on those other few emails. because it helps them build that deeper brand loyalty to you and get more excited about reading your emails. If they know that every single email you're going to send them is a sales email, they're not going to be super, super excited about reading your emails. I have that from this one company that
That's
I get
such a
shorts
good
from.
tip.
Sorry, Sadie.
I was just
Yeah.
saying that's such a good tip because it's so true. People,
Yeah,
I always say, people like to buy, but they don't like to be sold to. Like,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
So the company I buy shorts from, I really love their shorts, but literally every piece of communication that I get from them is like sale, sale, buy now, buy now, buy now. And at this point, I'm like, like even though I love the shorts, like I love the shorts, but I can get shorts I love someplace else. And it's so annoying to me that I only get sale emails from them, that I've unsubscribed at this point. And it like makes me sad because I love their shorts. I just don't want to be sold to all the time.
Yeah, that's so good. So like, a couple examples of what you could do in that email. And one thing I was thinking of was, that it can also fuel your sales emails. Like you talked about earlier, is like an example of a non-sale email would be like a survey. Like people love people love for you to want their feedback,
Mm-hmm.
like and really value their feedback, especially as a customer. It's like, I want to show you more things that you like, so please respond. And I love what you said about replying to the email, because I find that that's so powerful. And even like, I don't know if you heard recently, like Instagram found that the engagement rate is so much higher when you do a story that says like swipe up and reply, or like you put the sticker on there that says send me a DM, as opposed to click a link. Like it's way higher engagement. Like people love replying and just like communicating with the business. So just kind of wrap up some examples of what those non-sales emails would be. You mentioned reviews. You mentioned surveys. Like, go ahead.
Yeah, asking them about a new design. So we're thinking about doing this new design. Do you like this one or this one better? Reply and let us know. Like it doesn't even have to be that long. You could tell them a little bit about why you came up with this design, how you came up with the design, giving them a little bit of the backstory. So when I get stuck on emails, like what to write about, I always do who, what, when, where, why, and how. So who did this? Who came up with the idea? Who is it going to help? What is the design that we're looking at? What spurred it on? What is it that I was thinking about or looking at when I decided to start doing it? When do you need to order by, or when is this going to be available? That kind of stuff. But the who, what, when, where, why, how definitely helps. But thinking about a new design would be a really great one that people would for sure, I think, respond to. I also wanted to mention, you said that Instagram finds that there's more interaction or more engagement when people can send a DM. And I think it's because of that connection factor. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why those like respond to this email is so powerful, because I think even though we can connect with literally anybody in the world at almost any time, there's still this connection that's lacking. Even though we see each other face to face here, it's different than seeing each other in person. And so I think people are genuinely looking for ways to connect with others and looking to be seen and looking to be heard. And if you can provide that for somebody, that's where those super fans come in, that want to buy from you again and again and again.
Yes. Yeah, so good. Because I mean, even just comparing it straight to email, it's like if you send an email and say click this link, or you say or you say respond to this email, not only will you probably get more responses as opposed to click links, but then you'll get way more engaged customers who are more apt to buy, more apt to become super fans of your business, because there's that personal connection. So I love that. Anything else you want to add about sales emails, non-sales emails? We can kind of move to the next
I
subject.
do want to say, yeah, we have another brand that I actually don't run anymore. We hired somebody to run it for us, because it started as a passion project, and then we started making money from it, and we were like, oh. And the thing that's really interesting about it is we do that same process, the non-sale, sale, email, non-sale, every single month for over a
Mm-hmm.
year. We've been doing that. We make sales every month, and we have been for over a year. But the thing that's really interesting is the replies that I get are so heartfelt and like paragraphs long. Like these people are entrusting their life story to me essentially. And it's really interesting to see how much people are willing to share with you and how much they are just craving somebody to care. And so if you can show your customer that you care about them, even if you don't know them personally, it just goes a really, really long way with them. And it really does make them super fans.
That's so awesome.
Mhm.
All right, one quick little comment here. Ben said, I like that because it engages the customer in the transaction, makes them feel part of the decision process. That's awesome. And guys, I do
It's
see your
something.
questions, but we'll make sure and come back to those questions at the end. Sorry about that.
What Ben said is something that I noticed while I was a teacher, and that I've noticed in business as well. That if a student or if a customer has the opportunity to have some kind of say and some kind of feel like they are responsible for something or have some kind of responsibility in it, they have so much more ownership of what you're doing and they want to know more. I know sometimes people are like, oh, nobody cares what I'm doing. Nobody cares about, how I came up with this idea, but people actually do if you're engaging with them and you're giving them a chance to take ownership in what you're doing. And so that's been incredibly effective for us.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, let's talk about if you're ready. Let's talk about a little bit about personalization, like personalizing your emails and how that can affect everything. When I
Mm-hmm.
think of personalization, I just instantly think like just putting their name in the subject line or putting their name in the email. Which, if you guys don't know, in most of your email providers, there's little tags where you can just automatically put their first name. Is that the only way you would use personalization, or are there other ways that you would use that?
Definitely other ways. So the personalization does help, and I'll show you a little trick with that in a second as well.
Yeah.
But with the personalization, you can also do that segmentation that we talked about earlier, where you can ask them what they're interested in, and then follow their customer journey. So you're only sending what they want, and that's part of the personalization process. You can also wow them by sending emails when they've been with you for over a year, just saying like, hey, we see that you've been with us for over a year, and I just want to say thank you. Even if they've never bought from you, I just want to say thank you. Here's a coupon if you'd like it. But it's letting them know that you see them. That really is what it comes down to. And then the other thing I wanted to show you with the personalization, so you can add their name throughout the email, which is really good. Typically, we try to add it once at the beginning and at least once at the end too. It keeps them engaged. Because they see their name, so they keep on reading. But one other thing I want to show you is with subject lines, and this is with both personalization. Let me go ahead and share my screen. This is both with personalization and with subject lines, just in general. So this is the tool that I use to write every single subject line. It's called subjectline.com. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So you would put in your name and email address, but it's a free tool to use. And so you can put your subject line in here. Carrie, you want to try out one of yours? If you know a subject line of yours from recent by any chance? I should
Wait,
have asked you this.
what
Sorry.
is the tool?
So it's subjectline.com.
Oh, it rates your subject line.
Rates your subject line. Yeah. So if you happen to know one of your, or somebody else watching right now happens to know one of your subject lines that you've had recently and you want to share it, we'll test it out and see how it should perform.
Yeah, let's just use one that I sent earlier for the live stream. I mean, we could do
Okay.
that maybe.
Sure.
Um, okay, so I want to use this one from the other day.
Okay.
It says, if I can find it, just like you put me on the spot.
I know. I know. I should have asked earlier. Sorry.
I wasn't
I'll give
ready.
you
I was
that.
like, wait a second.
And if anybody
Um,
watching wants me to check one of yours too, I'll show you how you can update it too and tweak it a little bit to make it better.
okay, it says I didn't want to do like a reminder one. I wanted to have one that
Right.
had like a
Right.
good. Okay, I almost got it. I'm like searching through my
Okay.
email. Probably should just went into the email marketing provider.
No worries. No worries. I should have asked earlier. But it is
Mm.
just such a really, really great tool that I think you guys get a lot out of that.
Okay, it just says this is for our live stream on Tuesday. It says want more $3 signs. It's probably
Okay.
gonna like it's probably gonna that's probably gonna send it to the spam folder. From email marketing and then their first name with a question mark.
Okay. And is the W in want capitalized?
Uh, the W is capitalized and the rest is lowercase.
All right. So let's see how that's going to rank. All right, so that ranks at a 65. The reason I love this tool is because it tells you why. So we have marketing is over 8 characters, so that's going to deduct 9 points. It doesn't have any urgency, that deducts 19 points, and then it contains a comma. So it just kind of blows my mind with this, but this is one of those weird things. If you use this, you'll be able to see those patterns. If you use a comma, it always deducts. If you use 2 question marks, 2 hyphens, parentheses, anything like that, it's going to increase
I
it.
didn't use a comma, sucker. Better remove
Oh,
that comma.
that was me.
So it
Sorry.
gets to 72. Woo!
All right, so let's try this again. Let's do
Want more $3
more
signs.
$3 signs. Let's do $2 signs and see what happens there from email marketing, Brittany. All right, and no comma. My bad.
I didn't capitalize that word, but I don't know if that matters. But
All right. No, I capitalized
ooh,
it. So just by putting more in all caps, it increased it from a 65 to a 77. So let's see if we can get it even higher. Want more cash from email marketing. Brittany,
I would think that the dollar signs would like make it a little more spammy. You know what I mean?
Yep. So changing it from the dollar signs to cash instead, raise it to an 81. And then if
Dang.
we said, yep, let's see, we could say learn how to make more from email marketing, Brittany. Let's see, learn today. We'll say today.
Oh, so you need the urgency.
Learn. Yep, exactly. Today, learn how to make more from email marketing. All right, let's try that one. I'm not sure about that one, but we'll give it a try. So even though grammatically it's
Woo,
not as good,
snap.
it still is a little bit higher. And then if we had more time to like narrow it down a little bit and make it shorter, we could raise it up to over 100 just by changing the length of it. But those simple shifts, and if there's anybody else that wants me to try yours and show you how to tweak it, I'm happy to. But even that simple shift makes such a huge difference. The other things that help, making sure you have a capital letter at the beginning, using, like I said, double quotation mark or double question marks, parentheses, double hyphens, double exclamation marks. Any of those things are going to boost it up. Putting the person's name is going to boost it up. Just it's one of those really right. It's a really interesting tool, but it's one of those weird things that shows you all the tweaks that you can make to increase your open rates.
All right, my mind is officially blown. So
Yeah.
I think that you just earned your first air horn. Somebody said knowledge bomb.
Yeah.
Ben said, "Wow, that's a great tool to really break it down." Bridget said, "Love this." That is awesome.
Super helpful.
Yeah, if you guys want to drop any more subject lines, feel free. Maybe we can do one more. Jane put subject line was vendor inquiry. I don't know if I don't know if we want to do that one. That's really short, but
yeah, we can try it. So, Jane, what is the, let's see, it's inquiries to sell at an event. Okay, so vendor inquiry, let's see, let's give it a try and see what happens. Let me share my screen again.
We're just having fun now. This is too cool.
Yeah, yeah, it really is.
I'm gonna be using. I didn't know about that tool. I'm gonna be using it like every day now.
I know, it's so good. All right, so let's just try vendor inquiry and see what happens. And I think you had the capital I, but I can't remember. But we'll give it a try.
No, it's lowercase I.
Lowercase I. Okay. So it needs some subtle urgency. So let's try vendor inquiry for next event. I'm not sure if that's going to help us, but let's give it a try.
What if you put a word like urgent in there? Is that bad?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Nope, that would be good. So let's see. Urgent vendor inquiry.
Nice.
If that didn't work, okay, so that raised it to an 89. But it actually lowered it because while it has that urgency to it, it says urgent, and so it lowers it for spam. So instead of urgent,
that's not subtle. That's like very upfront,
like in your face, yeah. So let's try open soon vendor inquiry. Or even due soon might be good as well. All right, so open soon raises it to a 92. It still needs some urgency, even though we said soon needs a little bit more. And because it contained the colon, it raised it up as well. Or you could even add in, if you added in the name of the event, I bet that would help as well. It won't show you on here because they don't know the name of the event, but I bet that would help as well.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Wow, okay, well.
Like,
Alex says brain exploded.
Right. One tool a lot of people use when they're doing subject lines is like Co-Scheduler or Headline Analyzer. And those are great if you're doing blog posts or something like that. But if you're doing subject lines, subjectline.com is far superior.
So good. Cool. Okay, so I totally forgot what happened before that. I got no follow-up questions. That's just awesome. Okay, well, so personalizing your emails. I like what you said about, I do remember what you said. You said about like segmenting your list automatically kind of personalizes your emails. So, sending to only certain parts of your list, it's just automatically personalized. That's pretty cool.
Right. So one of my colleagues, what they do is they have all these different segmentations and they follow the customer journey. So they say, okay, the customer bought on this date. I love this. I got 100% on this subject line. Use coupon today only to save 20%. That's a great subject line. Yes. Yeah, very good. I was doing the old like Italian chef. Yeah. But then I felt like it looked like I was smoking. I wasn't trying to do that. Anyway.
I guess you got to use all the fingers.
Yeah. I don't know why I only went with those. That was weird. So a colleague of mine, does a lot of segmentation, and then she has somebody on her team, a VA, go in and say, okay, this person bought today, or these 5 people bought today. What's their customer journey? And so then they're looking for patterns. They're looking for the places that they're buying from the most, the products, or I guess for them, it's the products that they buy the most. And then they go into those products and they optimize them, because if they're already getting a lot of sales from them, how many more could they get if they optimize it? And so whenever they're optimizing, they focus on what they're getting the most sales from first, and then move on to the other things. But you can find that out when you segment. You can see the exact process that they take through to get it.
That's awesome. Maybe one of the things to touch on real quick is I'd love for you to touch on is just um, well, if you have them off the top of your head, I don't want to put you on the spot, but like what are some benchmarks for e-commerce? Open rate, click rate, like and maybe like what should we be looking at as far as our data that we're getting from our list? You know, what's most important, I guess, and what are some of those benchmarks?
Yeah, so open rate is important, but with the new iOS updates,
Mm.
that's going to be less relevant, because it will be. So what's going to be happening is that
Yeah,
anybody
maybe
that
just
had,
explain that real quick if for
yeah,
everybody that doesn't know.
so anybody that uses Apple Mail, like that gets their mail through Apple Mail on their phone, what it's going to do is pre-open it. So it's going to show that you have like this super, super high open rate, but it's like a false open rate. And so that is kind of frustrating. One thing that you can do, though, I'll share my screen one more time again, because this is on subjectline.com actually as well. So typically on your email service provider, not all of them, but on a lot of them, it's going to tell you how many people are using iOS and how many people are not. And so you can put in the inflated rate. So let's say I get an 89% that it's saying from the people with iOS users, and then from non-iOS, or sorry, other one. Let's say that it's saying 89% now. I can look at, all right, I have 45% of my users are using Apple iOS. I can calculate it, and I can say my actual open rate is 64%. So this is a
Oh
great
wow.
tool. Yeah, so it just kind of gives you a better idea, but that's a big change that's happening right now with email marketing. So just something to be aware of, that if you're like, wow, suddenly my open rates are so amazing, they may be inflated, and that's why. So that one is becoming, I mean, it's still important to know your open rates, but you just need to know the actual ones, not the inflated ones. For ecom, it depends. I mean, with all niches, it depends. If you have 30%, usually that's great. Anything higher is amazing,
Yeah.
but 30% is usually good. But it does depend on your list size. So if you have a list of 100,000 and higher, then it's going to likely be lower, and that's pretty normal. You do want to clean your list, so that means getting rid of the people that don't respond, they don't interact, they don't open your emails. Typically, if somebody hasn't opened them for 6 or 9 months, we want to try and get them off the list, or at least invite them to let us know if they still want to hear from us. But that's going to help open your open rate and your deliverability as well.
Yeah, and that's
Um,
important because that's what tells the Gmails of the world and everything that you're not just some spam. Is
right.
if you're cleaning your list and you're getting more opens and that kind of thing, it's all about that
Yeah,
helps.
people want to
So
hear from you.
yeah, for
Yeah,
sure, for
exactly.
sure.
So that is something, I mean, open rate is good to look at. It's good to look at from an internal perspective mostly. It's easy to be like, oh, my open rate's this, or my open rate is not this, as high as somebody else's. So it's best to look internally and see, all right, is it steadily going higher? That's really what we want. So that's what I'd be looking for. And then the other number you want to look for is the click rate. You want to have more people clicking, of course, because then it's more people with eyes on your product.
Hmm. Well, do you have any idea what you look for on a click rate?
I don't, for e-commerce. I don't know off the top of
Yeah.
my head. Yeah, sorry
Yeah,
about
and
that.
it's tough too. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
and so yeah, I think it's all different. Like you mentioned, like even inside e-commerce, it's going to be different for all different niches. You
And
know,
probably times of year too, I'd imagine even.
yeah, yeah. Oh, for sure, for sure. Yeah, and I mean, because I would think e-com is going to be higher during the holidays and that kind of thing. Everybody's looking for gifts. Might be lower post holidays and that kind of thing.
Mhm.
T-shirts might go up in the summer because more
Mhm.
people are buying T-shirts, that kind of thing. So it's kind of all over the place. The last thing I've got to kind of touch on here is getting reviews through email.
Mhm.
We always talk about how important reviews are and social proof. I think there's a stat out there that I always talk about. Over 50% of customers are reading reviews prior to making a purchase. So we need reviews. What are
Mhm.
some strategies or tips for getting those reviews through email?
So the first thing is having it in a sequence so you don't have to think about it. That is the the easiest way to do it, the thing that I would suggest, because then you don't have to worry about it, you don't have to think about it. I hear a lot of people that are like, oh, I need to send out that email next week. And then I follow up and I'm like, hey, how'd that go? And they're like, oh, it's been 3 months and I haven't sent anything. So put it in a sequence so you don't have to think about it and it goes out automatically. Offer them some kind of discount or coupon code as a thank you. I think I said earlier, but just in case I didn't, asking them to send a review and then saying something like, I have a coupon code for you. As soon as you're done, hit reply and let me know. And I'm happy to send that coupon code over just as a thank you. But being really, really thankful for that. You can also include those reviews once you have them, include them all over the place in your social and your emails. And then what I found is when people see other people doing the reviews and I ask them to do one too, they're like, oh, yeah, of course, because they just see that it's the norm. I also will sometimes say, hey, I'd love to feature you. Do you have, or I'd love to feature you in your company along with your review. If you have a moment to fill out this review form or to fill out a review for, what we created for you, I'd love to be able to feature you if you're working B2B. But I've noticed that people really like being featured.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Good stuff. Well, Brittany, that's about all I have here. I mean, one more thing that popped into mind, because I did want to cover this, because you've talked a lot about evergreening and sequences. It's probably the last question I have for you, but I really wanted to cover this. Is what sequences would you recommend? Because I talk about welcome sequence, of course, like I encourage people to have a pop up on their website or a wheel of fortune or something to capture email. Once they opt in, there's a sequence that's set off there. I also talk about a buyer sequence. Whenever they buy, there's a thank you email that goes out, and then eventually tries to get them to make another purchase. That sequence is great. There's browse abandonment. Like, what are some of the sequences you would recommend for e-com or along those lines?
Abandoned cart would be the first one. Well, sorry, let
Yeah,
me go back. Fulfillment is the first one that you need to have, letting them know what's happening in the process. For
and
fulfillment,
that's
I
that's
like
usually
to do,
automatic with Shopify and everything,
yeah.
like the fulfillment. So
Yep. And then I like to follow it up with the welcome series, just saying thank you, letting them know who you are, asking them to reply, getting them in the habit of replying right away, asking them how they like it once they've gotten it, asking them, hey, if you love it, leave a review, and then showing them either making it super easy for them to leave a review, sending them directly where they can leave a review, for example. And then the next email I like to do is a discount and thank you email after they've left some kind of review, because that is your prime real estate. So your welcome emails, your fulfillment emails, those are the prime real estate. Those are the emails that the majority of people open right from the beginning because they want to, they want to know where their stuff is. And so they're opening those more than any other. So those are the first ones to have in place. After that, I would say abandoned cart, because that's the easiest one to start making more money from, because you can recover the cart that people are already interested in. They just need a little push off the edge or a question answered or something like that. And then the next one I would say is the evergreen sequence, so that you can have those sales on autopilot without, in that safety net, so that if something does happen, the unexpected happens, you can still be making more sales from people that either are previous buyers or have shown interest in buying, but just haven't pulled the trigger on it.
So if you have people coming in through these different touch points, like you have people coming in through a pop up, you have people coming in after they order, those are the main ways that people are going to opt in, I guess. Would you have a sequence for those and then maybe dump those into an evergreen sequence that then goes, like,
Yeah,
say
exactly.
somebody makes a purchase and then you tell Clavio or whatever, like, in 30 days, dump them over into this sequence and then go from there. Is that,
Yeah, and I can even show you what I suggest doing.
yeah?
I'll pull it up on the screen share here. But this is what I suggest doing. Actually, let me show you where most business owners get it wrong. Let's see.
Love it.
Okay, so this is what most business owners are trying to do. They have their opt-in, or they have the product that somebody's buying, and then they have all these emails, and then the emails just stop. They don't really get any more. Maybe it's the customer doesn't hear from you until there's another big sale or something like that. The problem with that is that, first of all, they're getting emails from other people, they're hearing from other people, but they're not hearing from you, and so they're not going to remember you. That's
I'm
the first
guilty.
problem.
I'm guilty.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of people are. And then the second problem with that is that they're not warm. So when you do make the sale, it's like if you're trying to push a boulder up a hill, and then after every 10 steps, you're like, okay, I need to take a break. When you get up again, you feel that, like you feel the soreness everywhere, and you're like, all right. And it's so much harder every single time that you get up and have to push. That's what it's like doing it this way. What I suggest to do is this. So let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can see. That was too much. Okay. So what I suggest is having your opt-in, some kind of fulfillment, and then an automation that moves them to a welcome sequence where they can opt in, or not opt in, but like segment themselves, self-identify where they want to go. And then same thing, if they have a product, they can have a buyer sequence as well, but they should go into this evergreen sequence too. And so from the evergreen sequence, what I would do is have, all right, email 1, email 2, email 3 is that sale email. If they've already purchased the thing that you're offering, the thing that you're pushing on that particular month, then okay, give them a different email instead. And then both of them go to email 4, 5, 6 are all the same. So this is saving you time. You don't have to do as many sequences. It's saving you time, but your customers are still going to get segmented. So they're still getting exactly what they want as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and it's so I'm thinking like it looks a little crazy, but once like
Right.
and so it takes a little bit of work, but once you set it up, it just runs in the background. Like that's the amazing thing is like it's almost it's not a I wouldn't say it's a one do it once and forget it because there might be tweaks you need to make and you need to look at how those emails are performing, maybe make some tweaks. But I mean, once you get it dialed in, it's like you're printing cash. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
That's
it's pretty awesome.
exactly why we focus on those or on the opt-ins, because if we know that if we can get someone opting in to our list, then like we're golden because we're selling to them all year long, we're helping them all year long, we're building that relationship. And I mean, even not just this year, it's the sequence that I set up, but then anytime someone comes on my list, even if it's 3 years from now, they're still getting that series of emails and I'm not doing anything else with it other than maybe, like you said, making a few tweaks here and there. The other business that we have that somebody else is running for us literally makes money. I don't do a single thing with it. She monitors the Facebook group and that's it. Like it basically, like you said, it basically prints money for us.
So
And we're
awesome.
helping people. It's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's really awesome. I hope that guys, I hope that this is kind of clicking for you because what I talk about a lot is as I mentioned kind of in the beginning, so many people are running these Facebook ads. They're they're really trying to get that first sale, and I know that that's important. Not the first sale for their business necessarily, but they're trying to get that they're focused on getting people to the website, add to cart, and get the sale right there. They're not as much focused on building their list. And so if you're not getting sales from your ads, but you are getting opt-ins and you're going to be selling to them for the next year because you've got this evergreen sequence set up, oh my gosh, once you start getting that thing the wheel turning, it's like I could spend money all day on ads even if they're not driving sales because I'm driving email opt-ins and then I'm driving tons of sales over the next year or 2 years. And so getting that in motion is so powerful. Even if your ads aren't necessarily driving sales on the front end.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to say that I just thought of. So one of the people that we worked with, she does a Shopify store. She's an artist. She has a Shopify store. She puts her art on shirts and on totes and things like that. And so how we did her evergreen sequence was we would share a picture from her shop of this particular product, one of her best sellers, and then she would talk about what she loved about creating it, like gave us the behind the scenes, and that's done really, really well for her, and people love hearing about it, and it really has helped develop those super fans as well. And so that's one thing that we've seen work really well, especially for ecom, is sharing the behind the scenes of what's happening with that.
Yeah, that's another thing a ton of people struggle with in my world is they're just like, I don't know what to send.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's so hard. So that's just a great tip. All the stuff you've shared. I mean, surveys, getting reviews, telling the story behind the scenes or why you created a design. So good. All of it's so good. And then the resources you've shared. Do you have a few minutes to take a few questions?
Oh yeah,
I want to be
absolutely. I'd love
mindful of
to.
your time.
No,
Um,
absolutely.
Okay, we've got a few good questions here. One I'll answer just really quickly is from James. James said, "Is there a way to send an email to multiple people at one time?" That's kind of what we've been talking about. Everything we've been talking about is through an email marketing platform. I usually recommend Klaviyo for e-commerce, Klavio, or I know a lot of our students use OmniSend as well, which is really great. Those are always two I think about. But if you want something affordable, MailChimp's also great. There are many great email tools out there where you can send to an entire list. So hopefully that helps, James. All right. So from my friend Jason at Runnerisms. So would you exclude product altogether on a non-sales email, or could it still be added as a footer after the non-sale content?
Yeah, it could totally be still added as a footer. That's a great idea. Usually on the fourth email, I always add it as a footer, like just a hey, just a reminder, and then send them back to the whatever I was promoting the week before. But you could even do that on all of them. Of hey, go to our store, or hey, if you like this email, you might like this particular product. That's a great idea, and it doesn't feel pushy because it's not like the main. It's not the main part of the email.
Awesome. Ben, will these vids as well as the other Q&As be linked or able to view in the product section? I'm not sure I get that one. Are you tracking that one, Brittany? Try.
Or I think they're asking maybe if this is in like a member area, like if you'll save this video
Oh,
and put it in the member area. That's what I think.
okay. Hopefully that's right. Ben, maybe clarify. This is on our YouTube channel, Ben. So this will live on our YouTube channel forever, and you can go back and watch it. Right as soon as it's over, it'll be available there. It's also in the Shirt School Facebook group, the Shirt School VIP group. If you're a Shirt School student, you can watch it any of those places. This one's a little bit longer. I'm not going to put it on the screen, but I will read it because it might cover our faces. Do you add anything special to thank you emails, order confirmation emails, like a link to gather input from users? Would that be a good place to add like an opt-in for different emails for segmenting?
Hmm.
That's a
Yes.
tough one.
Yeah, so that'd be a great place to add in a way to segment. Absolutely. On the order confirmation, also giving them the option to get something else. So, hey, you like this, you might also like this. Here's a coupon code or a discount for it. And then anything special to the thank you email. Yeah, the thank you email order confirmation. If you can put the discount code or coupon code, that's great. And then also letting them know here's some other things that you might like too. It's a great place to upsell them.
So this is actually kind of blowing my mind. This one specifically, I didn't mention it because so with Shopify, now I'm sure there are other ways to do it where you can like the order confirmation, the shipping notification emails, like I'm sure you can have those come from your email marketing platform or whatever, but I know most probably 99% of businesses just have the Shopify like automatic,
Mhm.
order 1001 was placed.
Mhm.
But I was just thinking like you can edit those. Like you can go into your Shopify account, edit those emails, and I've never ever done that in 4 years of like selling, e-commerce. I've never edited those emails. I've always just used the standard Shopify emails. I'm like, holy crap! Because what you mentioned earlier, if you guys didn't catch it earlier, is like that's like 100% going to be the most opened email because people want to see where like their tracking number and where their item is, and like if you could go edit the Shopify templates even and just add a link in there, a discount code, something in there to kind of keep that flow going. Uh, oh my gosh, that could be like huge opportunity.
Right.
So
Yeah,
that's
because
really cool.
they're opening it. It's prime real estate.
Yeah, that's awesome. This person says, thanks for sharing your personal story and giving us such great information. Thank you, Brittany.
Yeah, thank you.
And somebody said nice flow chart on the
Thank you.
emails. Okay,
That person sounds like a former teacher also, the flow chart part.
probably, yeah. Brian says, sorry if you already mentioned this, but what program do you use for this automation? As far as email
Um,
marketing, I mentioned Klaviyo, OmniSend, MailChimp. Any other ones that you recommend on the ecom side?
no, for ecom, the ones that you recommended, I would say too.
Yeah. Um, can we get a screenshot or picture of that sequence?
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, if you
Um,
want to send it over to me, I can drop it in the Facebook group. Might be a good place if you guys are in the
yeah,
Shirt School Facebook group. If you're not, it's I think shirtschool.com/FB will get you there. Maybe it might not actually. Let me double check if that's active or not. Yes, it is. Yeah, shirtschool.com/FB. If you're not in that group, you can jump in that free group, and I will do my best to drop that in there. Just have Brittany send that over to me.
absolutely.
Um, got a question here specifically about T-shirts and not email, so I'm going to skip over that one for today. That might be a good question for another time. Which email platform do you recommend if you use Shopify? We mentioned MailChimp, Klaviyo, OmniSend. Okay, here's a good one. Brittany, do you have any products or offer your services? Do you want to talk about that a little bit? How
Yeah.
people can get in touch with you, maybe work with you, or take one of your courses or something?
Absolutely. So you can reach me at Brittany at winwithsystems.com, or winwithsystems.com is the website. But I will say I don't spend a lot, don't judge me, but I don't spend a lot of time on our website. We get a lot of people in and then we just nurture them. So, but that's where you can reach out to me. We do have done for you services, done with you services, and do it yourself options as well. So if you are like, I want to learn it all, which I know some of you do, we have a course for that called the Evergreen Email Accelerator. If you're like, I want to learn it all, but I need some help to like implement it and make sure I get it done, we have VIP day sessions. And then we also have something called Ease into Evergreen, which is like a group program, a 2-day group program where we get those done with you. And you can, if you've ever wondered, like, is this email any good? And then you don't send it because you think that it might be crappy, that will solve that problem. And then the done for you services, we offer year-long evergreen sequences, abandoned cart sequences, welcome sequences, pretty much anything that can make money for you again and again and again. That's what we do.
So that's a lot you have to offer. It sounds like you have like
Yeah.
the whole spectrum of stuff.
Yeah.
Is that the best way to get in your world, is to email you or go to the website or?
I would say email is the best because I see that most quickly, and my team and I can respond most quickly that way. I was thinking actually, if it would be helpful to you guys, I can create a little like a PDF with ideas on what to send to your audience. Because I know you mentioned sometimes people are like, I don't know what to say. If that would be helpful, I'm happy to create that, and I can send that over to you when I'm done. If that would be useful to your folks here.
Well, that's very kind of you. You guys let me know in the comments. What do you think about that? You can send a little PDF with some tips in there. I think I think it would be great, but let's let the people decide. Okay, so let's just make sure they know how to get in touch with you.
Yeah.
If Caitlin's on, Caitlin should be on from my team. If you can drop that in the chat, it's Brittany at winwithsystems.com, right?
Brittany.
Brittany.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's so many ways to spell it, so it's A-N-Y at the end.
Yeah, Brittany at winwithsystems.com. Hopefully we'll be dropping that in the chat here for you guys. All right, we had a couple more questions. Brittany, are you still good on time?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Where was that question at?
We usually do family days on Friday where we don't do work, we just relax. And so
And
it's
I made
also
you work. I was like, you're
No,
coming on.
no, this is
You're
the
going to work.
No, this is so fun. I love doing this, but my husband's making ribs today, and it's our really good day for really delicious food. We always cook it, and that's all I have planned for today. That's all I was trying to say.
This morning before I came into the office, we bought a cow, like a
Oh,
like a butchered cow. And they delivered it this morning right before I came into the office, and it's made my whole day. But we got like 52 pounds of ground beef and like
oh my
every
gosh.
kind of steak that you can want. And so I thawed some. So I have steaks at home. I went home at lunch and like marinated some steaks
Oh.
for tonight. Ooh, I'm so excited. You brought that up, so I'm like, oh, you're having
I know,
ribs,
my
I'm
mouth's
having.
watering
I
now.
know. I'm like, I'm gonna go home and eat right now. Okay,
Yeah.
question from Brennan. I recently did a t-shirt giveaway ad campaign, which got 150 new subscribers to my list. Yay. But after sending out 3 emails, my open rate dropped to 9% and click rate is 0.5%. Any advice there? You did a
Yeah, I would
giveaway.
say
Sometimes giveaways,
yeah.
maybe not the most
Yeah, so
high quality.
giveaways can be good, but sometimes you get I don't know, like I don't want to say dead weight, but that's essentially what it is. People that are just there for the free thing and don't actually care about anything else. And so I would give them the option to unsubscribe, let them know what you'll be talking about in the future, the kinds of things they can get from you, and then say, is this something along the lines of not interested in hearing from me again? No worries, like I won't be offended. Here's where you can opt out, and then it'll kick them off your list. And the good thing with that is that it will increase your open rate and your click rate as well to get rid of people that are just not interested at all. They were just there for the free thing.
That's awesome. Because you do get some good. Like giveaways can be
Yeah.
great. You get some good, but you might get some bad as well. And so,
That's part of
following
it.
up.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
totally normal.
Um,
And so if your new subscribers amount does go down, like don't feel bad about it. That's normal. That's just part of the process. It's just kind of helping you weed out the ones that are like, yeah, I'm not interested, and really nurture the ones that are really
or
interested.
nourish. I mean, you can nourish
Yeah,
or nurture,
they
whatever.
work.
Okay, should you increase the discount or coupon amount at each opt-in email if the customer hasn't opted in?
So if they're on your list, they've opted in at some point. But if they haven't bought yet, it's up to you. I personally don't like to. I like to keep it at a lower, like 15 to 25% max. For me personally, but it depends too on what your profits are and things like that, and what you would feel comfortable doing where you can still make a profit and turn them into a buyer. So, but if they're on your list, they've opted in already. If you're saying like on your website, you could give them maybe a few options, like you were talking about earlier with the spinning wheel carry. Something like that might be a good idea.
Yeah, and some of those opt-in methods like work better for different businesses and different niches. You know, you just kind of have to test. Like generally, what I've always gone with is a 10% pop-up that just it pops up, 10 or 15 seconds after they've been on your website. You are very clear. Get your 10% off coupon right now. Just give your email. We'll give it to you on the next page. But also the spinning wheel is awesome. Like some businesses have like blown it up with the Wheel of Fortune. So, all right, next question is from one of our best students here, Josh Stover, Mini Bike Apparel. Are you sending people with a link to the video content, or is there a way to embed videos in email? I love creating video content.
Great question. So I send a link to the video content instead of embedding. First of all, because it takes less to send that and less to open it as well. And so that's why I just like sending them a link. I really love sending Loom video links. It's not the best idea because if you're like eventually if it dies is not the right word, but like I think after a certain time they expire. So I would say if you're going to send video content, you could put it up on a landing page or something like that with a video, and then you could even have a link to buy below. So personally, what I like to do is sending them to a Loom video, but it's not the best option. I just feel like it's really personal, so that's why I like it. But the best option is to send them to a landing page where there's the embedded video there, and then a link below where they can click to buy.
Awesome. Well, one of the things I like doing, maybe you have an opinion on this, is I guess I've been doing this more recently, is creating little GIFs from the video. Like taking a little piece of the video where maybe I'm like moving around or something, or making a funny face, make a little GIF and throw the GIF in the email with a link to the video.
I love that.
It just kind of makes it fun. It increases the curiosity a little bit if you catch a good part. That's kind of a fun thing to do.
I love that idea.
Okay, so I've now gotten to the yeses for the PDF. So I got yes, please, awesome, yes, PDF would be great. Sounds like a great idea. Thank you, a PDF would be great. There's done. PDF, yes. Okay.
Okay, awesome. So I'll have, we'll work on that. My team and I will work on that, and we'll send that over Monday or Tuesday if that works for you.
That would be awesome.
Perfect.
Let me see if I got any more like really pressing questions here. Somebody did ask, what do you think of animated GIFs in an email? We just answered that, so that's cool.
Love them.
Right,
I wouldn't overdo them. Like I wouldn't put more than one in there, but I love putting one in.
Awesome. Okay, Brittany, thank you so much. I want to just one more time really quick for everybody that maybe didn't catch it earlier. I know we dropped it in the comments, but I want to make sure you guys know how to get in touch with Brittany. I know I follow her on Instagram. You guys can go follow her on Instagram. I think it's Evergreen.
The Queen of Evergreen.
The Queen of Evergreen. At the Queen of Evergreen.
The is at the beginning too.
Yeah, at the Queen of Evergreen. But she said, so I just want to make sure they know, you mentioned that you have programs for all different levels. So some of you guys might be like, I'm not ready to have you like write out a year of my emails, but I might be ready to, do a course or something that I can learn, or a 2-day workshop like you mentioned. So many great options. And Brittany said that the best way to get in touch with her, if you would like to maybe work with her or get one of her programs, is just by sending her an email. I mean, obviously, the email queen, you got to send an email. So Brittany at winwithsystems.com, Brittany at winwithsystems.com. It's in the chat there on YouTube. Anything else you want to add, Brittany?
I think that's it. Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It was great hanging out with you guys.
Yeah, this has been awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to stay on for just a minute, but Brittany, you have a great day. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.
Everybody say bye. Air horn. Woo! Guys, how good was that? Oh man, give it up. Give it up in the comments. What a great little session today. She was dropping them like heavy and fast. I mean, she was dropping the knowledge bombs. Like I would just throw out there, encourage you guys. As I mentioned earlier, this live stream lives on our YouTube channel. It will stay in the Facebook group, all that kind of stuff. And so I would encourage you to go back and maybe watch it again or watch some parts again. Maybe skip through if you've watched this, because she dropped a lot of knowledge. And I think some of it we were like, I know I was like, oh man, there's so much good stuff here. I need to like grab a few pieces of it out, because she was going pretty fast through that stuff. So Definitely go back and maybe just fast forward through and try to grab some more nuggets because there was some good stuff in there. And I really encourage you to get in touch with her if you guys want to learn more about emails. That's what she specializes in. So I try to give a lot of knowledge on emails, but man, she's like on another level. So that was great. I see lots of love in the comments there. Also, guys, I'd really love to know if you enjoy this format. Like I have a lot of friends that do different things and know different things, and I'd love to bring them on the streams to talk about their area of expertise. So I definitely want your feedback if you enjoyed this and you want to see more people coming on kind of these specific topics. What I don't want to do, guys, is I don't want to just bring somebody on just to tell you a story and whatever, and just kind of fluff. I want to bring you on with I want to bring people on with a specific topic like this, where they can offer specific tips, strategies, expertise in a certain area, so I want it to be worth your time, even with this being a free live stream and everything. I just want it to be worth your time. So this won't be every week. Every week we do our store reviews and all that kind of stuff. But I do think once or twice a month, bringing on some peeps and having some fun, I will definitely try to do more of that. And guys, I think that's about it for the day. I do want to also let you know one more thing, just one more thing real quick. I have a new program coming out. I'm going to go ahead and reveal the name. It's called Add to Cart Blueprint. It is going to be phenomenal. I can't give you much more information about it, but I have a new program called Add to Cart Blueprint coming out. It's going to be an affordable program, and I just want you to keep your eyes out for that. It's not ready to release yet, but it's going to be releasing soon. So I just want to kind of get that in your mind. It's a very affordable program called Add to Cart Blueprint. It's going to be awesome. So if you want to know more about that, stay tuned. We'll be talking more about that, sending in some emails, all that kind of stuff, because that's going to be really cool. I think it's going to be $37. I'm just going to throw it out there. I think it's going to be $37. It's going to be pretty cool. It's all about getting more add to carts. It's going to be awesome. All right, I see a few other comments here, and then we will sign off for the day. Lots of people saying this was great today, saying thank you. You are very welcome, my friends. Somebody said, bring on the interview style and knowledge transfer is solid format for Shizzle. I liked it for Shizzle. That's good. The topic for today was perfect. I love that, man. Email is so powerful. James says, this was great. This was on the mark. I love hearing from other people to learn more. Each has a lot to say. Came in late, but looking forward to the replay. Catch the replay because it was good. It was real good. Jane said, didn't even know this existed. That's awesome. Happy Labor Day. Ben plans on going back through it. Brian says $27 sounds great. It's going to be $37. I think it's going to be $37. I think that's the price point we're going with. It's going to be... Alex said, what was the masterclass in Connecticut? So we... myself and Brittany both are a part of a mastermind, a coaching program with Julie Stoyan. And so we were in near Hartford. What was the town? Oh, I'm struggling to remember what the town was. It's south of Hartford, near the coast there, at a ranch. And we were there for a couple days, and it was awesome. And yeah, so we're in a mastermind together. So guys, thank you so much for everything and hanging out today. You have a phenomenal day. Don't forget, we'll be back next week for Shirt School Live every single Friday I say every single Friday, but every Friday at 2 p.m. Central, except for the 24th. We're not having a stream that day. We're taking a break that week because I'll be out of town. But we will be here the next 2 weeks with more value, more fun. Give it up. Woo! Have a great day.